Check, we're jumping in early today. Mic check, mic check. G'day, Stu from UAVfutures. Sorry, I was waiting for YouTube to refresh there. Hopefully this is live or recording. How are you? Welcome to our Happy Flying, our weekly episodical, I think that's how you pronounce it, but our weekly live streams. We talk all things FPV, hang out, have a good time. We're talking about some new tech. We're talking about some new drones, some new products that I can't wait to show you. We're going to be answering some of your questions, but let's go through, answer a few of these. I can see some absolute legends in the chat as well. Thank you so much to everybody who has turned up today. It is great to see you here Monday morning for me, wherever it is for you. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, a drink, whatever you may do. And maybe you are stuck driving and you're listening to this on your radio, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in. You are cared about. You are special. And we're going to have an awesome time today. Let me tell you what is coming up. I can see Johnny DRC in the chat as well. Anthony Zane. Who else we got? I can see Candyman. We got Ryan in here. AUC, Shoot FPV, Train FPV. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got any questions, please throw them in the chat. Let me know what you have been up to when it comes to drones. Have you been flying? Have you been stuck inside? It's actually been raining where we are at the moment. So it's been so dry for so long. We got a torrential downpour for the last couple of days, and there's about 1 million mosquitoes outside. But let me tell you what is coming up in the FPV space. So we're going to be checking in with you. We're going to be talking about, you can see a new radio just behind me, just here on that chair. That's where I've sort of put the things I'm going to be talking about today. So that is the Jumper T15 Pro. It's cool to see some things still coming out from Jumper. It's a pretty interesting radio. We'll be sort of talking about some first impressions about that. We are going to be talking about the Ascent VRX, which is also, you can see sitting at the base of that chair right there. So we're going to be talking all about cheap digital FPV. We're going to be talking about the Beta FPV P1 system, doing a bit of a comparison about which one you should get, what's the VRX like, all that sort of stuff. Shoot FPV, thank you very much for that super chat. He says, always great to see everyone from the community. Yeah, thank you so much for every single person who is here. This is the best part of my working week. That's not hyperbole. It is the truth. Getting here, connecting with you guys, just talking all things drones. Because remember, I'm exactly the same as you guys. The only difference when I'm out there flying, I just point a camera at it. But that's what I hope that you feel when you watch my videos. Just an everyday bloke going out and flying these crazy little flying drones and having a blast with his mates. So wherever you are around the world, you are always welcome. And thank you for being part of this community. Thanks very much there, Shoot FPV. We're going to be talking a little bit about Emacs and some of their work with some open IPC stuff. We've got that here I don't know what I call this, in the studio. Well, not really the studio, but here near the computer as well. One of my favorite drones has gotten even better. So for those of you who don't know, we're going to be talking about the Wally FPV, the Lightning V3. And that drone has a big part in my heart. So I can't wait to be talking about that and showing you some renders and some pictures about that. It is looking spectacular. I can't wait to fly it. I expect it to be sensational. We're going to be talking about what Beta FPV, you got some context from them about a VRX for the P1 system and what they had to say about that. And then there's a bit of a drone triathlon going on, like an Uncrashed competition. We'll be talking about that towards the end as well. If you like to fly around on the sim, or maybe you want to win a sim key, I'm just going to put some details on where that is. I'm not running that. I'm just sort of spreading the word about that as well. Someone says they're playing audio as they prep their supper. So there we go. Let me know what you're cooking over there. Hopefully it's something tasty, something healthy. We got Paul, Jeff, I should say, here as well. I'm remembering everybody's nicknames. And let's answer, before we jump in, talk about you guys. We're going to answer just this one little question. This is from Guppy, Australia. And he says, I'm new to FPV. I've spent thousands on Spectrum gear for my fixed wing over the years. Well, there's, I can't really help that part. I was devastated when I realized my NX8 won't work with these little drones. Now, here's something that I think Spectrum pilots, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. When it comes to the world of FPV, and FPV pilots don't always realize this, the products that we have work so well and they are so cheap. For example, and you let me know this, Guppy, Australia, what do you think of a price of like $180 radio? Would you say $180 radio is cheap or expensive? Now, Spectrum is still sort of, they haven't changed any of their prices terribly. How much is a Spectrum radio? Let's have a look at this together. And if you're an FPV, you might get a bit of a shock. Let's have a look. Oh, even for something like that. Have a look here. And jumping over here. All right, we've got a 20 channel transmitter only. I don't know what the differences are. Let's just go to this first one. I imagine the left might be like the cheapest one. Like a color screen. I don't even think that's not terribly high resolution. Let's have a look. Shop now. How much is this going to be? Okay, we're about $400. And that's some plastic gimbals. Nothing about this looks special at all. And I don't know what Spectrum failsafes are like or just what their range is like, but we use ELRS in our hobby, Guppy. And that's the protocol that most of our radios are on. Something like this radio right here, this TX15. This has like incredible CNC gimbals, like it's a full metal gimbal design inside this radio right here. It has a bigger, brighter color touch screen. It looks like it's got more like whistles, dials, switches. How is this one powered? Does it come with batteries or anything? I would guess nobody should be buying things like this when brands like this TX16S exists. Spectrum sort of just steals your money as far as I'm concerned. When you look at the price and what are you actually paying for when people buy Spectrum? But it is never too late to make the switch. And if you want to jump in and try FPV, you are in for a treat, because this radio right here, and I know, look, it would be great if you could use that radio. And this is one of the few times when I would recommend don't use the gear that you have. If you want to get into FPV, don't use a Spectrum radio. You are much better suited to just get something like this when it comes to drones. This is the Radio Master Pocket. I think it's about $65, and a receiver for comparison. Let's have a look here. How much is a receiver for some of these? Let's have a look. Receivers. This might be a good indication. Okay, this one looks like you even need to add some extra things in here. Let's just have a look. A 3-channel receiver. Hopefully that's super cheap. $40, because yeah, that's basically, that to me looks like garbage. Oh, okay, let's have a look at what's a 10-channel receiver. $90. So there you go. That's and then as a comparison, and everybody can let me know what radio they're flying and how much it costs. And if you are flying with ELRS, how many fail-safes you've had, or if you've made the switch, if you've ever flown Spectrum and switched over. And there's a reason why nobody in the drone world actually uses Spectrum whenever I go to races. But let's have a look here. Actually, you can do it this way. We'll go to our catalog, and this is where you should always go first when you're looking for radios or any sort of drone equipment. Look at this. A Pocket Crush radio. It's $65. There we go. So if you get that straight from Radio Master, that's similar to this radio here, although I have upgraded the gimbals. And an RP1 or an RP2. Is it RP02? Let's have a look. Or is it just RP2? There's the RP1. Maybe that's the one that I'm looking for. This receiver is $18, and you will get outstanding range, everything. So this is a big recommendation. If you are jumping into the hobby there, let me know what you think, Guppy, about, I know it's sad that you can't use your radio to fly your drones, your Spectrum radio. You probably could find a way to make it work. It's not worth it. Just get yourself like a Radio Master Pocket, and you're going to be off to the races. Even if you don't want to, you will still have an amazing time. Get this. This is the T8L. It's about $35. You're going to have such a better time. The Spectrum is overpriced, and they are taking advantage of you. There is no competition there. So it's not recommended to go Spectrum. And actually, in the few times when I did try Spectrum in the past, I had fail-safes. It's way more rock solid on ELRS nowadays. Anyway, that's just a little bit of a recommendation. I can see a whole bunch of people in the chat as well. Kiz Bartlett, he says he's got a video tutorial on DIY FPV that uses QR codes to track FPV racing times. Okay, I'll have to have a look at that in just a little bit. I can see Donnie in here. He's actually who's running that drone-athlon that we were talking about. I'll have some more details towards the end of the stream about that. Most heli pilots fly Spectrum for some reason. It's because they don't. Ignorant, is that the right word? Like nothing they are uneducated in the way of just what you can get out of a cheap radio today. Donnie says he loves ELRS, and the other recommendation probably would be if you want to go crossfire as well. And as far as range goes, unless you are flying like more than 40 kilometers, ELRS will absolutely be fine within that range, if you're going for the right long range setup. The link quality of ELRS and TBS's crossfire is outstanding. Donnie says, and he also felt a huge difference in response once he went to ELRS. Chris says the reason why no one uses Spectrum is cost and fixed channels plus the size of the receivers. Yeah, it's outdated tech. But let's all be nice to Guppy and say, welcome to FPV. The good news for you is this hobby is insanely cheap relative to other hobbies, and even insanely cheap relative to the RC world. So drones, it's very open source. There is a lot of high quality gear you can get at a relatively budget price. And I know a lot of people complain about the cost sometimes of like digital, but the actual technology involved in even something like the DJI 04 Pro, which is, I don't know, like a $200, $220, like the best VTX camera combo that we can get. The tech that is in there and the quality of the picture and everything is actually incredibly cheap for what you get. And we're going to be talking about some budget options later in today's stream as well. Okay. So we're going to be talking about a jumper radio. Like that's probably a perfect segue. But before we do, I would just like to say, number one, make sure if you hit that like button, if you appreciate some of the streams, it does make a difference more than you know. Let me know where you are watching this from. But the number one thing that we always talk about, and I know it's not drone related, so bear with me because this might not be for you, but it might be for somebody else. And it actually might be for this one person listening. And if you are hearing this and you're saying, hey, is that me? Am I going to relate to this? Here's the question. Do sometimes you ever feel maybe a little bit undervalued or a little bit isolated or a little bit invisible? I'm here to say to you, just to you, and that's why I'm taking the time out of my job, my stream, talking about drones, to say this to you, that you are seen, you are heard, you are valued, you are special, you are unique, and I am really grateful that just you, are here as part of this community. Thank you for tuning in. It is great to have you here. I hope you have a great day, and this makes your day or night, wherever you are around the world, just a little bit better. Because I know what it's like to sometimes feel alone and isolated and just not in the right headspace. And I'm here to let you know that you are not alone. And it is not weak to speak. And please don't feel like you have to suffer in silence. I'm so proud of you for being still here, part of this community. And the biggest thing that I ever did, if you are struggling with this, was go and talk to a professional. And that's why I'm talking now. I am in a much better place now. And I'm to let you know that it does get better. And everybody does have hard days. But you don't deserve to be unhappy forever, and you are not alone. We are all in this together, and I'm so grateful that you are here. So I know we're meant to be talking about drones, but this is just for you, and I truly mean it when I say this, that you are valued and cared about and unique, and I'm really grateful that you are here. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so let's talk about the first topic of today, and this is a new radio. So this is the Jumper T15 Pro. This radio, it just turned up in the post last week or maybe over the weekend. Let me just grab it wherever I put it. That is this bad boy right here, and I have to say, I feel just from the looks of things, does this not look like a classic sort of antique car? I don't know. Like, there is something about the aesthetics here when they said, Stu, what color do you want? And I have enough like fancy, usually I like neon radios, like a bright purple or something might be something I'll be like, yeah, I'm really into that. This one, I felt like I was just looking at some It gave me like a real 70s James Bond sort of vibe. I don't know why. I don't know what that is. Now, this radio right here, this is the T15 Pro, but Jumper has a terrible website. Look at this. And I don't know how they are actually still, like, they make some okay radios, and they've been making radios for a long time. It's not even on their website. So to have a look at this, like, we've got the T15 here, which was a great radio. I quite liked it. But the T15 Pro is on, I need to hold this in front of me. This is only on like AliExpress and stuff, so I can't actually confirm the price because you can never really trust the AliExpress pricing. Do I guess and say it's going to be about $199? I don't know. I'm going to have to get some more confirmation for that. It is doing some things a little bit different. Number one, well, I don't know how many people need a new radio. And remember, it is not, if you already have a radio that is doing everything that you want, you do not need to go and upgrade. But this might be an example of, like, if you're a Spectrum pilot, okay, well, like Guppy, our friend who was just here talking about it, what should he get one of these? The first thing I noticed, is this a new feature, or we have this on the back and I don't hate it. I do not hate this feature. Normally you think, oh, do we really need those accessories? But it is nailing a few things straight off the back that after you see, like, I have radios all over this bench right here. One, two, I've got 4 or 5 radios sitting around, and there's a lot more radios downstairs. I've handled a lot of radios, and there's a couple of things straight off the bat like, oh, I quite like that, and it seems to be becoming the standard. Number one, foldable antenna. I really like that. All these antennas now, it means you can just throw them in your bag. You don't have to put them in a special case and worry about things getting broken. The more robust a radio can be, the better. I really, really like that. Number two, we have these, I don't know what you call this. This doesn't feel like the best quality, to be honest. I prefer, that doesn't have it. Some of them have like the Boxer, like a braided band or a material band. This feels like some fake leather. I think that's probably going to snap, but I prefer having a little carrying handle that is made out of material. I find it easy to carry. Again, it's not going to break, it's not going to snap off. That's what that's all about, and it's also easy to throw in your backpack. The third part, then, I found this interesting, is this here. I've never seen this on another radio, and we've got this little stand here. So, you know, if you're just sitting that down, has this been done before? Like, maybe it's like a 3D printed mount that I've seen some other people I've never seen it, but maybe some other people have been doing this. But this is the first time that I've seen it ship from a radio manufacturer like this. Is this design on any others? I like that. I like that. And the reason why I think it's good is because, yes, it's going to be useful. It's going to be practical, but it's not getting in the way. And that is a big one. When you are, sorry, we've got a big mosquito. Is that a mozzie? When you are flying, radios really need to be user-friendly first. That means comfortable, not annoying. That doesn't seem to be in the way to anybody. I mean, I don't even use a lanyard strap when I'm flying because that's going to irritate me. So yeah, I really like that. The other part that I also want to mention, and this might be an indication that things are slowly shifting away from 18650s, and I don't know how I feel about that, is some radios are switching to, and look, it's probably good if you don't have a radio, annoying if you're going to be upgrading. So we've got here these 21700s. So this is the new battery size. I went to put in an 18650 and I was like, oh wait, that's not fitting. So how much is a 2100? 21700. Is that like a new battery size that's becoming more and more popular? Okay, we've got this one, but this is like a pre-made one. I can't see it. I can't see individual cells. So right here, obviously this is a Radio Master, 5000 milliamps. So I'm going to guess, maybe we're looking at like $8. $8 a battery, because then if they've got to put like $1 worth of cable on there and wires and plugs and those sorts of things. So I don't know. I mean, you could run it off an 18650 if you had a different thing in here. Mine has a little LiPo. That's how I'm charging mine. And you've got some like higher end gimbals, but inside here, I suspect once we take these apart, like it's got some little aluminium parts on there, but don't be fooled. It's still a predominantly plastic gimbal, which is a difference to say these gimbals here on wow, this is so much heavier than this radio here. This is a solid radio. This one feels plasticky. And then again, we have like a big screen, big color screen. I don't know if it's going to be touch screen. It is touch screen, so it's rocking Edge TX. Got some low it's covered in LEDs. I don't know if that's really showing up. Something it is a bit different is these buttons across the front I actually quite liked. Thank you very much there. Yeah, just a radio that I'm excited to test out. We'll see how it goes. Unfortunately for me, you've got your latching switch over this side. Again, I wish that this was a latching switch as well. That's just me because I arm on the left-hand side. Let's turn this off. Got a low battery warning. So we're seeing how those is. Guess how much this radio will cost though? How much do you think this radio would be? Put this in the comments down below. The non-pro version is, let's have a look. I think this was about 160. Can we even buy this here? Or do they not even actually sell them on their website? I think, like, their website sucks. But, okay, this is not terribly exciting. Is there no shop now? You can't even buy it from there, so there we go. If someone knows the price of a T15, oh, we should just look for that on here. Jumper T15. There we go. This is why I love my website, DIY FPV. So, okay, we got $170. That's over in the UK, and then around $200 over in the States. It's going to probably, I think they'll still keep it at that $200 price range. They have to, because it's not going to be able to compete with the other radios if it goes more expensive. Search for the T15 Pro on the website. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Okay. I've seen it just on AliExpress at the moment. But yeah, cool nonetheless. We'll check it out. Johnny DRC says about $249. It's going to be someone says self-plug. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so proud of this website. I'm sure anybody in the chat who's ever used it will be like this. This is how I know this is a good website, because I use it all the time in my work to get things done when I'm trying to find products and answer some questions. It is so easy. And I know if I'm using it and I feel like I know a little bit about drones, then it's going to be helping a lot of other people out there. If you've never seen DIY FPV before, go check it out. You've got secondhand goods. We're going to be being able to build drones in here. You can compare FPV goggles, pulse all over the map. You like people sharing their flights and engaging with the community. It is incredible. So yeah, go check it out. We've even got Kiz, who's here in the chat. He's just done a pretty cool QR code timing system with trackside there. ACG says it's $195 on AliExpress. There we go. That's about, I was just saying then, if that is the price that they release it at, then they can't increase it more than the current one. So otherwise it's going to be a very, very hard sell. Alrighty, next we're going to talk about, well, we've got some of your questions. If you've got some of those, what are you asking there, Paul? I'll answer that. What's your work anyway? I don't know what do you mean here. My work is doing this, or do you mean something else? The Ascent VRX, it is finally here, and we are doing some really, really cool things with it. So let me show you on the screen for those of you who don't know. If we jump over to here, I'm going to see if we can find Cadex's actual website. This is their VRX. And this is, oh, look at this. It's Happy New Year. It's also, yeah, it's Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year over there. So if you're ordering from China in the next 2 weeks, I don't think anything will be shipping. If it's not out of the country right now, you're probably going to have a bit of a wait. This is the VRX. A lot of people have been excited to fly this because this was our first entry into absolute, like, budget, cheap digital FPV. I think not recently, it was back in December that we first flew ours around. I was really excited, and it has been up in a lot of competition against things like the later released ArtLink with the P1 VTX. But what this was, it's $139 plus a cheap, what is this, 50, oh no, that's Australian dollars, sorry. It is $99, and we have about a $35 VTX. If I buy this together, what's the price? Does it change? There we go. Yeah, a $36 VTX, and here it is. So we've got this here. Now this is the VRX. It is actually smaller than I thought, but still relatively chunky. And I'm going to be doing some videos. You're going to see some videos coming out in the next little bit. I want to put this through some more testing, do some more flights with it. I've got some cool things planned. I had reservations, and I've been saying this for a little while, between the P1 system and the Ascent system, that the P1 just handled it a lot better. I felt much more confident in terms of breakup, in just in terms of a more robust FPV link when we're flying around. This is meant to change some things because we're going to have, like, it can do 100 frames per second. It can do a little bit more, and we can plug it into something like this. So this is like something like my Sky Zones, which have a HDMI port in, or I should probably use the Goggles X to do my review, seeing it's a CAT-X product, working with a CAT-X product. But yeah, this, we'll see how it goes. Now, originally when I reviewed it, it was on an old firmware, and it was like very, very early prototype when I was first looking at the Ascent system. So I'm really excited to see how this goes, but I don't think, from what other people have been saying as well, this isn't the magic bullet that's going to solve all of Ascent's problems. And this is probably where it gets quite interesting as well. Now, the first thing when you look at this, how are you meant to mount this? And that has been a discussion I think I was having last week. You probably meant to maybe hang this around your neck, because there's no easy way to mount this on terms of a typical FPV goggle. Having a look underneath, we do have one of those little threaded pieces that can go on like a camera tripod or something, but that's not how most of us FPV pilots fly. We like to strap this to the front of the goggles like this. Now, unfortunately, these can get quite big, bulky, and heavy. This is how I use my HD0. I've got my little unit on the front right here. Putting this somewhere, it feels a little bit chunkier as well. And I saw a Mads Tech stream this morning. When he booted his up, it sounded like he was turning on his air conditioner. It was extremely loud, extremely noisy. So, I don't know. It is a great time to have these companies pushing and trying to develop something. And I have to say, shout out to CAT-X, because what we want is a product like this that we can use with our existing goggles. That is the biggest limitation of the P1 system. I must have those here. The biggest limitation of this system is that we have to use these goggles, and they are not comfortable. So CAT-X is winning maybe in the form side of things, not in the function side of things when it comes to actual image quality, and not so much image quality, robustness of the link. Now, I'm hoping on the latest firmwares and with some more testing, flying this thing around, that it might improve. That is, you would hope that it would improve, because we've got a better receiver unit here for the video link. And this is where things get pretty exciting too. Someone says it's just a clunky box. Yeah, I agree with the P1 system. It is a little bit clunky. Check this out. This felt a little bit sacrilegious. However, this is for you guys, and I hope you appreciate this. I had to sacrifice two of my favorite drones for the information for you, which is, look, it's my job anyway to do this. So I was happy and excited to do it, but it did feel a little bit bad. Anybody who has watched this channel for a while will have seen me flying the Lightning V2. I have a Walksnail version, and I have a DJI version, and I had an analog version as well. Stickman Steve, he has a Walksnail version. That is this drone right here. This version right here, I put in the P1 VTX. So that was from Beta Flight. That's from Beta FPV. Really fun little drone. And with that, that's a cheap $35 VTX as well. And the Ascent is its competition, which I have the exact same craft right here. So when we are doing these, you're going to see some really cool tests in a little bit. Both of these craft, the only difference really is going to be the VTX that is in the middle. So I'm very, very excited to see just how far we can go, to do some of our testing, to see which system I actually prefer and have some trust in. And then we can talk about the VTXs and if there's receiver units and any of those sorts of things. But it did not feel good to take a DJI 04 out of here and put inside the cheapest end in the digital system. So now if I just had a HD0 one of these, I'd probably be set. Maybe I need a little fleet because it is one of my all-time favorite drones. The only drone that I think is in this same category might be the Eagle 2 from Wally FPV, and that uses a full-size camera in there on 3S. But the Lightning V2, let me know if you've flown one in the comments. I've been singing there. I feel like I championed that drone and helped spread the word of just how good it is and how much fun it is. All right, let me catch up on the chat. But long story short, while that is happening, we will be testing this soon out here on the channel. I'm hoping that it fixes some of the issues I had before with how it handles breakup, and ultimately, is it reliable? Do I have to worry about this system dropping out of the air? Because that is the number one thing. I actually don't care how good the image looks. It is no point if you can't fly it. I'm fine with a little bit of latency. I don't need insane like analog reaction times or anything like that. I like a really nice looking picture, but it needs to be flyable. And that was one of the big issues I had with something like OpenIPC and also this, that I would lose my drone for a little bit. I couldn't tell where I was. It would just break up incredibly bad that I couldn't see. And the latency sometimes would become too much. I had none of those issues with the ArtLink system. It just sucks that ArtLink does not have a VRX to go with that. Hey, Happy Flyer RC, thanks for tuning in. We've got Douglas, he's tuning in as well. And Dodgy says, I'm on the edge of nowhere, it feels like. What do you mean there, Dodgy? And Anthony says, YMZ FPV. I got a 03 version that I haven't flown yet. Well, YMZ FPV used to be Wally FPV. And I believe the designer of those went and said, okay, I'm going to focus on making some of these products as in his own store. Now, let me show you something else that's pretty cool, actually. Speaking of the Lightning V2, one of the all-time greatest drones I've ever flown in the last decade. I got an email yesterday that said, Stuart, check this out. And he has added in a lot of things that I've been pushing for a little bit. And it is great to see them. I don't know like if it's a direct result of my saying, hey, we should add this and talking about this in my reviews, but look at this. This is available. The Wally FPV Lightning V3. So we've got it right here. It looks gorgeous because it is doing some things that we have been asking for a little bit. Now, this is going to be a lot of fun if people want to put in their own VTXs. I highly recommend wait and see how this goes. But if it's very similar to the Lightning V2, I loved it. But look at this. In mine, I think it's in. You can see right here, we've got a nice little LED light and antenna holder on the back. Because if you have a look at mine, that's exactly what I have on the back of mine. I was like, this is what we need. This is what we should be having. Now, towards the front as well, apparently there is a little bit more camera protection. We'll have to wait and see what that's like because I did say that it'd be nice to have some little crumple zones or something. It looks like in the front slit right here, you can slide it back and forth so you can put in the camera that is going to fit the board that you are flying. And then where was the other part? I'm not too sure what that is. If that's like the Eagle 3 in the background, which is kind of a confusing. I would be taking that out if that was mine. And here we go. Got a little bit of a render right here. So they've got the antenna towards the back, which is done a little bit differently than in the current V2. The only other part that I would like to see would be a little TPU mount. I might be able to design this now that I've got my own 3D printer that I've been saying. It'd be nice to have almost a little case that just went over the edges here just to stop any grass and dirt and things that go in the middle. So there we go. I'm excited to fly this around. It's kind of doing everything that I want. And I do even like that this wasn't one of my suggestions, actually. He has an inbuilt place for the XT30 to go into rather than it just being loose and hanging out the back. So I like that as well. If you've flown a Lightning V2, please let me know what they're like in the chat. They've also been some of my most popular videos. Now, how much is the price going to be? Analog is 200. Let's have a look at what kit would I want to get. Well, let's go the most expensive one. Let's go DJI 04 with an ELRS unit. $350. I'm fine with that. When you think for an analog drone, okay, that's probably the cheapest way to do it. Analog is 200 bucks. That's probably pretty standard. You're gonna have an awesome time flying this thing around. Let's have a look. Please test this is from Super. He says, please test the Ascent VTX with the Ascent box goggles as well. I'm interested in getting into digital and would go this route as my analog goggles won't work with this VTX. What do you mean? Oh, will it? Okay. Got you. When I fly this around, which is this one, and the little Ascent VTX, I should say, this Ascent Lite, it is incredibly tiny and lightweight. I will try and connect this up and fly it around with my box goggles that came with the Protos kit. Is that what you're asking? Yes, I will connect it to both. Oh, actually, I don't want to do that. I will test it on its current firmware, but I do not want to upgrade my current Ascent Lite goggles. They are on a very, very early firmware that nobody else has access to, and that's the only one that goes black and white. So I will try, if they can bind, I will do some flights on it, but just know they're going to be on a different firmware if I can. I don't want to lose that firmware until I've got a way to pull that down and keep that myself, actually. Anyway, that is what it is. Robert is saying, I went to Avatar goggles here in America due to the FCC against the DJI, plus the DIY FPV website showing us a comparison. Go give this a go. Thank you. Another person recommending my website, and they are talking specifically about this. If you want to come here and see, just in terms of image quality, what you can expect, like we'll go analog to Ascent. You can just come here, have a look at the different, you just click on two different goggles and or you can look at one if you just want to have a look at what it actually looks like. I'm waiting for a sunny day or a similar day to be able to put the new P1 VTX up here. And then it looks like I'm going to also have to do HG-LRC. And then I have a bit of like things to look for, how we did it, and also the systems that we used in here. Most of these are the cheapest systems that we have. The cheapest way to do this, the only difference would be the HD0 camera here. This is using not their lowest quality camera, so you can get a camera that's a little bit worse than this, but a lot of the community felt like that wasn't fair, so we updated this picture to use, I think it's one of their racing VTXs or something, whatever comes in the Hawk 5 back in the day. There we go. So, and you can link to all the products that are used down here as well. And of course, you can buy me a coffee if you'd like to do that. Probably a good time to shout out Central Coast Coffee wherever you are around the world. Australia makes some amazing coffee, and Central Coast Coffee is where it's at. I'm excited to see what HG-LRC comes out with. That is going to be... I'm also excited for that. That's their Draco system. I don't know how... I'm going to guess, and here is my predictions. I feel like I've been doing this for a long time. The HG-LRC system is going to be almost... not exactly the same, but you are going to have such a similar performance from the Draco system as you do from the current P1 system from Beta FPV. Both of those companies are not known for developing like their own video systems. That's why CADX's is a little bit different. I've actually visited HG LRC headquarters. I've visited Beta FPV. I've gone to their factories and checked them out a couple of years ago. They make some really good drones, but then I don't know the amount of research and development that they are doing on like the protocols and behind the scenes and developing a video system. I expect that they're outsourcing a lot of that. So then they're just sort of like sending off some recommendations and, hey, we'd like our system to do this. Can you add these features in? And somebody else might be picking up that work as a contractor. They're probably working off the same basic hardware and the way that things are working. The Draco system and the Ascent, the Draco system and the P1 system are going to be very, very similar. That's my recommendation. If I get that wrong, I'm sorry. Like, and I haven't flown the Draco system, and it gives me, I'm really excited about it because it actually does come with a VTX. Can we get that on the screen? Draco VTX. I'm trying to, here we go. That's if it's out yet. It's not on the main page of their website. So let's have a look. We'll go to a forum into FPV. They'll have some pictures here. Here it is. This is what I was talking about. This right here. This is the Draco system. We spoke about this last week. We'll see how it goes. 2 to 8S. Probably very, very similar. I think this is the right way to do things. Again, coming out here with a VRX instead of your own set of goggles. I really like this. Isn't the claimed resolution higher than the P1? What do we got? 1080p at 60 frames per second. And let's have a look here. We'll just have a look at race day quads or pyro drone. Let's have a look at pyro drone. (1080p 60 with 60 milliseconds latency). Okay, let's have a look at that. And we jump over, have a look at the Draco. Close this ad. Exactly the same there. 1080p, 60 frames per second, and 60 milliseconds low latency. Now that latency there, I actually don't feel it. It feels lower than that in mine when I'm flying the P1 around. When I'm flying this. So keep, but look, we'll do some testing. I don't do any real latency testing. It is all about just how does it feel for me. Somebody I do recommend that I think does a fantastic job with that with 1000 frames per second cameras would be Madstech. But the exciting part is a VRX. That's going to be very, very interesting on what that's like. That VRX also looks like it could use a 3D printed mount. And if this is an antenna that goes on the front as well, that's quite interesting. The way that that's going to be mounted on the front there. Is there a possibility to putting it, like making it a really low compact one? This might be an option to almost DIY some goggles as well. We'll see. We'll see. And it's nice that they've got at least two different camera lenses we can put on the front. Okie dokie. Let's continue. Johnny DRC says, cool. I love the HGLRC back in 2017. One of my favorite drones was somebody helped me out. It was the HGLRC. Was it the 145? Wow. It was like, it was an awesome little craft, and they came in a whole variety of colors, but I can't remember it now. It was one of Grumpy Trev's favorite ones as well. ACG Jeep says, you can get the 04 Pro and the light air units from the DJI store in New York, but they only sell FPV equipment to include goggles in person. Just found that out last week. There you go. Shout out if you want to go get some of those. I don't know the legalities or how they're doing that, but quite interesting. Uh, 5 kilometers versus 15-kilometer range claims. Where does it say this? Okay, this is significant then. 15 kilometers on ultra long range dual antenna system. That's going to be on the Draco. What was the P1? Impressive transmission range over 5 kilometers. Maybe then, does it say what their output is and how much like how many watts or milliwatts their VTXs are. I'm not too sure what the correct syntax of that last sentence was. But if this has like maybe 500 milliwatts, because it does look a little bit chunkier as well, it does look like it's got a bigger heatsink on here than the P1. Maybe, and HDLRC does make some insanely powerful VTXs. That might be what that's all about. We'll see. We'll see. I'm really excited for it regardless, and hopefully it's not too expensive. Hopefully it's a good comparison and people can get in, get flying. If I had to choose a system today, my favorite system currently for cheap digital FPV is the P1, but it needs a VTX for it to be a real awesome solution at the moment. The link is great, which is what we want. And I've been saying this sort of almost from the first day that I flew it, but the goggles themselves are such a letdown. You are really locked into these goggles. If you can get this link and break it free from having to put these on your face, you're going to be amazing. And if HDLRC with this Draco system is building on the same hardware and does some very, very similar things, they're going the VRX route, which I think is a much better idea. And then we're golden. We're a lot of people, and a lot of the big three companies are going to have to adapt. This is probably the scariest system. If I ran any of these businesses and I was looking at as I was seeing this come out, this is going to scare everybody, because DJI, when it all comes down to money, and look, not everybody has to worry about how much things cost, but most hobbies are driven by price, and most things that people sell, if they sold an Xbox for 20 bucks and a PlayStation 5 for 400 bucks, there would be so many more Xbox users. So this is going to be a similar situation. DJI, insanely expensive comparatively. HD0 is arguably the most expensive when you put everything, when you got to get your cameras and everything like that as well. And then we've got CADX, which is a little bit cheaper with their walk snail system, but still significantly more expensive. If you can get this system for cheap, a lot of people are going to look at those options and be like, I know those better systems perform more, but I can buy so many more of these systems here, fly around, crash, and and still have an awesome time. You're not really giving up too much. That's probably my big takeaway. Even if I flew around on the ArtLink system today, the system itself, I would have a great time. It's just the goggles that annoy me. I fully expect though that I might even have to cut those open or do something, because I would be doing that. I've flown worse goggles too. It's just that we're in such a day and age when we have so many nice goggles, people forget what box goggles used to be like. These are not terrible comparatively overall. It is just terrible for 2026 to have these on your face. If I flew these in just the goggle fit themselves in 2017, 2018, people would be like, these are amazing. Do you know how many people said the EV800s are a good goggle? I never did, because I hated them, but a lot of people said these are a great box. These fit better than those two. I did not like the EV800s. ACG says it's only the one he lives in as well, so he's tempted to go visit. And what is the price down there, ACGG? Maybe ring them up. Maybe you've got a friend in New York. This is what we should do. If you're on DIY FPV, maybe you can talk to, let's have a look. How many people are flying around in New York? I wonder if a lot of the USA users know that there's like actually people on this side of the planet. I'm not sure. Sometimes I feel like it's just in, like, the world stops here, but that's a little dig there. Okay, let's see. How's my geography? Can I find New York? It's probably, oh, there we go. Okay, we've got a few pilots around New York. Not as many as I was thinking, actually. But you might be able to message some of these pilots. Maybe try and DIY FPV and say, hey, can you just go check if these are in stock for me? Start up a conversation, and then at least it might save you driving down there. $500 for goggles, $120 for an air unit light. That's great. That's actually a pretty decent price. And Brandon says he dusted off his EV800 box goggles and the dust didn't come off. They were sticky. That soft touch plastic is rotting. Yeah, I don't like that sort of plastic either. That's the same with the speed gun that I used to have to measure everything. It's sort of started to degrade and fall apart. Now, let's continue. If you've got any questions, please throw them in the chat. Let me know what you're up to. What are you most excited about for digital FPV? Are you going to make the switch? If you got a system today, what would you get? Or what are you waiting for to change? Or are you happy flying with what you got? Your challenge now, just throw a question or a comment in the chat. That will mean a lot to me. And I would greatly appreciate it wherever you are in the world. It could be the middle of the day. You could be cooking dinner for somebody. I just want to see who's here watching this. It will mean a lot to me. Angel says, wait, so is Beta FPV making a VRX or different goggles or different units? So I have a little bit of an update when it comes, it's not the update that we want. So I wrote to Beta FPV about the P1 system, and I spoke about these goggles and how, like, look, they were very receptive to all the feedback that I have. And I think that's the sign of a good company, when instead of trying to get defensive and say, oh, why I'm wrong, they fully listened to everything that I said about the system, the pros and the cons. And these were probably the biggest cons. And I said, are you going to make a VRX so we don't have to use this? And this is their response on that. Without sharing some other parts of the email, this was an interesting sentence. They said, the last thing we would do is rush the product to the market before we have confidence in releasing it. So that was about them developing it. It feels like they're listening to a lot of feedback from the community. And I really like this approach. And I think that's something to say, well done, because there are some other companies, and I'm talking about Cadex here, who said some things in their marketing company, and they've gotten better, but Cadex had said some things in the past, and then we're still waiting, like the GT2 or GTV2 on the, with the Walksnail systems, we are still waiting for. Beta FPV, to their credit, is just waiting. Like, they're probably going to be working on something and making sure they've actually got a proof of concept or something that's like, hey, like something is underway, not just a whiteboard marker and someone's written some ideas. Make VR, like, it sounds like if they're going to release something, they're going to think about it and deliver something that the community will use. So I really like that. I think that's a definite positive here for Beta FPV. We might not ever get a VRX, but if they do, they don't want to rush a product to market. They're not just trying to capture this first wave of cheap digital. They want to have confidence in what they're going to release. That means a lot to me. What's Dodgy saying? I'll be flying on my, I don't know what that means, as most of the regulars are not about much these days. So not really a problem running analog. Analog's still great as well. There's nothing wrong with whatever people decide to fly. And remember, wherever you are flying in the world, and you'll see a lot of people say this system is the best or yours was a waste of money, and it'll almost be like a different religion if they fly something else. Some people can get very upset when you are flying to have fun. Just remember, it's not about having the best gear, and there is no right way to fly FPV. If you are having a great time, that's what matters. It's not about having the best gear, it's about having the best time. And if you are flying around with a system that has insane latency and maybe is just black and white, and you're running around with it you've strapped it to your head, you're not even actually flying, but you are having a blast, you are allowed to do that. You can fly your systems any way that you like. So just remember that it's your money, you spend it, you deserve to enjoy your equipment any way that you like. And do not listen to the haters or the elitists that say you have to drop $2,000 on a high-end drone setup to really know what it's like. That is not what this community is all about. It is about having a good time, flying with friends. And just remember, you have just as much right to fly and have fun as anybody else, regardless of the gear or the skill level. Just fly safe. Fly safe. Don't annoy people. You know, don't be a jerk. But just in general flying, just be a good human as well. But you're allowed to fly whatever system you have, and do not feel bad for doing that. And here's an example. Like, I sometimes see my kids when they talk about wanting to play Minecraft. For me, I'm like, to me, that game looks incredibly boring. Maybe that's ADHD. It just looks like building Lego, but instead of doing it in real life, you have to do it on the screen. But kids at school seem to be crazy about that. So, you know, they have fun. And it's not my job to tell them what fun is. Okay. Kiz is saying most of the fast pilots at the current Wootopia event run analog. It isn't about gear, it's about how much dedication you put into the hobby. Yeah. Well, and if someone did run HD0 or a different system, would they tell them off? Probably not, I don't think. This one's from Robert. Stu, I've already made connection to a couple of fellow FPV flyers, and they're only 30 minutes drive from my house. Thanks for the DIY FPV webpage. Okay. This smile, this is a real smile for you. If you don't know about DIY FPV, the reason I built it was for you. And we are specifically talking about this part of it here, the map feature. These are all pilots all over the world. When I started FPV, it was over a decade ago, I went to the local hobby shop and I said, I just saw this video on drones. I would really like to get started. Is there anywhere or do you know anyone that can do that? And he said, no, you should buy one of these $1,000 plus or $2,000 big, not even electric, big like gas powered planes. I said, I don't want to do that. Is there any community? He said, no, you'd have to start one yourself, mate. And he basically laughed me out of the store when I said, I'm not really interested in that. And then that's what I did. I have started my own community, and here we are a decade later. That's why you are watching. And I built this website for you. This is pilots all over the world. You can send them a message, go fly. We've just implemented some new features as well. So if a new pilot drops one within joins this map within 100 kilometers, it should send you a little email. And it is really cool, just like you said, to see people meeting up, flying together. That's what it's all about, building this community. It is for you to use. It's completely free. Go check out DIY FPV. Not only does it have heaps of resources, it has an incredible community here. You can sell secondhand gear. You can search for any product across a whole variety of stores. You can compare goggles here, like we're looking at left and right, and you can share your story. And there is more coming. There are some really, really cool things. Like you've been hearing us talk a lot about the builder, which is this right here. This is all wiring up. Some incredible things. You guys have seen that a little bit. We have taken it to the next level as well. I am so excited to be able to talk about where we have pushed that as well. So very, very exciting. DIY FPV. It is going to change our hobby forever and help so many people get flying. Okay, we've got some other people from Pennsylvania. Wish we had more people near Dallas. Put yourself on the map. That's what it's about. You need to be there for then other people to see and message. Don't be afraid. It's like you got to be sometimes you have to be the first person on the dance floor before it starts to fill up. Okay, Beta VRX. Now, let's have a look at this website. Look, ACGC is saying we're in PAEs in there too. There you go. Jump on there. Drone triathlon. Is this meant to load up? Now, this actually was sent to me from Donnie FPV over here. Jumping over. I'll post this in the chat as well. All right. So if you head over here, Donnie FPV, he's talking all about sims lately, and he's sort of starting to see the light of just how much of a useful tool they are at improving your everyday flying. Whether you want to learn to do freestyle, racing, maybe you want to do some car chasing or some chase footage. What we've got right here is a little bit of a website, actually. You can go, it's a bit of a competition to sign up, have some fun. It's in the chat. Go check it out. But the FPV triathlon, and it looks like they're going to be focusing like a triathlon. You do 3 sports. Here they're going to be doing some freestyle, drift chasing, and racing. It's all going to be around Uncrashed, and they also have some sim keys to give away as well. So if you go here, can we actually... Is there some links that people can follow? Okay. There should be some parts on this website, or you can just have a look at Donnie FPV on YouTube. I'll be able to post his channel here as well. if I can spell correctly. I'm gonna have to just go straight to YouTube. It's hard to search Donnie FPV with Done FPV as well. Here we go. So this is also his YouTube channel I'm going to post. Oh, he says, I can do it, but I can do it as well. But there we go. And he's saying, if you want to sign up, you can just send Donnie a message as well. He might even be on DIY FPV. I don't know. You might be able to send him a message on there, but you can do a whole bunch of stuff. Looks like there's a form at the bottom as well. But there we go. He's posted it to himself as well there. You should be able to see that in the chat. So that's the FPV triathlon. Just about getting people flying. And I think the whole focus, it's all free to join, just having fun, bringing the community together, practicing some skills. And if you've never thought about sims, they are amazing. Like such a great tool. That's why there's so many of them out there. And it's good that Donnie's discovered how useful they are for the community. I mean, I think a lot of people have been saying they're amazing. Looks like Donnie's been practicing a little bit as well, and he's saying it's really improving his flying. Alrighty, I am looking here. We have covered, the last part. I hope I can say this or show this. Looking at the time, talking about different video systems. We have the latest from Emacs. This is their little Open IPC, part of their RenLink thing. So it is interesting to see that Open IPC is still in development. Companies like Emacs are still supporting it, coming out with products. You should see that coming out in a little while as well. Probably I'll be focusing on the Ascent videos and those things first. But it is an interesting time when it comes to FPV systems, just how many are in the market. So I don't know how many people have flown Open IPC. In the past, for me, it wasn't really my go-to system. Like if we have a look here, I just found the image. The image actually was okay. It was more the reliability, which was quite difficult. So it would drop out, and I never had a lot of trust with this system. And you need a lot of trust and robustness when it comes to FPV drones. ACG Jeeps is very cool. It's the most fun, rewarding hobby I've had, and they've got great places to fly. It has improved greatly, but still requires adjustment. That's from... here's the thing about Open IPC that I don't understand. Why is there no default setting? Like they always say, it needs to be adjusted, it needs to be changed. Why is there just no setting that's like, I want to go fly in the park? Just put that as the default. And if people want to do long range, or if they want to have a sharpen image or whatever, can we just have like a default setting that is meant to work the best for, say, flying around this backyard? That's all people want. I don't understand that when it comes to Open IPC, why there's always that argument. You need to tinker with it to get the best out of it. Why? Why can't you just give it to me pre-tinkered, post-tinkered? Too many different hardware configurations. Okay, that kind of does make sense a little bit. Well, okay. Maybe something like this Emacs, then? I shouldn't have to tinker with that. It should be golden. When it comes from Emacs, I should get their VRX and their VTX should be set, should be done. I don't like tinkering on a system when, for most people, and myself included, I'm not going to know how to get the most out of a digital system when it comes to code and sharpness and latency, and just someone please tell me what works, or at least, I don't know, how many different hardware configurations can there be? Someone says OpenIPC is literally the Linux of FPV. And Linux is cool, just not easy to use, in my opinion. Relax, Linux users. All right. Okay. And then, oh, what's this I've got written here? You are special. That's because you are. That's right. We always end this part of the stream like this, and this is to let you know that you say, Stu, you say this every time. Can you just skip this part? No! Because you are valued. You really are cared about, and I am so grateful that you are here. I am so proud of you. You are special. You are unique. You are not alone. You are not isolated. You are part of this community. This amazing FPV community would not be the same without you. So wherever you are in the world, I truly mean it when I say you are valued. You are seen and you are heard. Thank you so much for being here. It might just be a weekly stream to you, but it means a lot to me that you are here. And I want to say thank you. You are making my life better, and I'm very grateful for that. That's you being here. It is improving my life. And I hope that in some way you have enjoyed this morning as well, or this evening, wherever it is around there. And I'm just letting you know that thank you, and you are cared about. You really are. Everybody else, go check out DIY FPV. Thank you so much to all the amazing people on here. Whether you're a Patreon supporter, whether you're a long-time viewer, whether you're a brand new pilot that's just jumped in, thank you so much to my members I can see in here. If you would like to help support the channel, there is actually a little join button. I don't know which side it's going to be on, down here somewhere. You can click on that. You get some bonus videos. And most importantly, today might be the day when you say, Stu, I like what you do for the community. I like what you stand for and getting people flying and having positive mental health. That little join button makes a bigger difference than you know. So not only do you help support the channel, you also get some bonus videos and you can feel good about the message that you are supporting. So thank you. Today might be the day when you say, I will sign up because I do watch a lot of your content, Stu, and I never really thought about it. Today might be the day that you make that difference and you decide to help share this message with more people as well. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much for the kind words. I can see right here. And other than that, I will see you same time next week, wherever it is around the world that you are watching. All right. Happy flying, guys.